Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and also share with your friends, and also click on the notification bell icon so that any video that I post, you will be the first to get it. Stay with me as we expand our knowledge with videos from all over the internet that's going to make you question reality. Let's just start.
My friends, it is the last days. The Christian persecution continues, this time in Syria, where right now we're up to 1,800 Christians that have been unalived in Syria by a Turkish-backed jihad group. Mind you, about 700 of them were unalived execution style. Okay, and we have a death toll of 1,800. The Western media is not reporting on this, and I wonder why. It's Christians and it's Alawites in Syria that are getting targeted right now. You have not probably heard anything about it because they tend to push things under the rug in Western media, especially as it pertains to Christians. A lot of people like to try and throw dirt on Christianity and all those different things, but it's the most persecuted group in the world right now. And I'm telling you that this number is going to continue to rise because there has been no control over the chaos that is ensuing over there. These Turkish-backed jihadists have just taken over these different towns in Syria, and they are going basically door-to-door style and gathering up a bunch of Christians, and they are executing them. Christians, we are in the last days. And believe me when I say there's a big reason why the Western media is not pushing it, and they never push anything that has to do with Christianity, real Christianity, not fake Christianity, by the way, but real Christianity. The reason why they never push that is because I'm telling you, it's coming to a theater near us. Normally I say near you, but near us. This is devastating. This is devastating. We got to pray for our Christian persecuted brothers and sisters across the world because it's happening at an alarming rate and we are not hearing about it. They're on a conquest to, we know. If you read your Bible, we know we are in the last days.
As soon as you choose
.5% of affairs start at
workplace, baby.
What's going on there?
We've asked our spouses to be everything. They have to be co-earners, co-parents, co-house runners. And so what you have is two people who are good at co-managing the house, and you have absolutely no shared purpose or building anything together. And then I go to work, and me and you and two amazing women are working together on a project that's going to help 10 million people. Now we have shared purpose. We're talking about how we feel about things. We have a goal. We have metrics. I'm spending more time with her or him than I am with my spouse.
That's right.
And the time we're spending together is rich. We're laughing, telling jokes. Oh my gosh. Of course it happens. I think everybody has to check themselves wherever they happen to be.
What did most millionaires study at university?
Business.
Business is number 4.
Computer science.
Computer science number 10. Larry Page, Zuckerberg.
He dropped out.
He did drop out, but he also got into Harvard to do computer science.
Finance, yeah.
Finance is number 7.
I'll say medicine.
Not in the top 10.
I would say economics.
Economics. And
So-
what do you study?
Econ.
Economics is number 3. Messi studied economics.
Oh,
That's politics. Actually, politics is number 11. So it's not too far. There is a degree here that very famous CEOs have done, like Nadella, Sundar Pichai. Micro version of this degree is like considered bad in the workplace when someone is a micro.
Boss.
Aggressor? Like,
Management.
Management is number 8.
Accounting?
Accountancy is number 6.
University dropouts.
No, 88% of millionaires have a university degree. A weird degree at number 9. It kind of depends on the country. No one has guessed it so far.
The Bachelor of Commerce. Popular in India.
Law. Most US presidents, law gets you places. So I'd say law 100%.
Number 5.
Engineering.
Engineering is number 2 with Bezos and Musk.
I wonder what 1 is.
Yeah, I'm curious.
You guys
I'm
must.
curious.
Number 1 is a postgraduate degree. You usually do it once you already have a degree and some experience.
So these strangers vowed to tie themselves together for an entire year without stopping. But what they ended up discovering from it was just fascinating. You see, despite only meeting each other just months before, De Jingxie and Linda Montano both wanted to try and test the limits of human connection. So they just decided to be constantly tied together with an 8-foot rope. Their rules were that they always had to be in the same room except when showering, and they also weren't allowed to ever touch. But although they were performance artists and thought this would be an incredible piece, they just soon ended up hating each other. Not only did they disagree about the purpose of their experiment, they also just had zero freedom and privacy anymore. Whenever one of them wanted to even just use the bathroom, they had to get the other's permission. There was also no more hiding anything, so the intense trauma of perceiving each other's deepest, most hidden flaws just led them to stop communicating. They just began pulling on the rope whenever they wanted something. But after enduring this for almost a year, Dutching and Linda just suddenly started talking again. They had just become so entwined in each other's existence by then that they developed a deeper bond than probably anyone else on Earth. And even when they finally untied the rope, they both said they would still be emotionally tied until they died.
Fear is a messenger knocking at your door saying, hey, there's a belief system here you're not aware of that's not working for you. I'm bringing it to your attention. Thank you, fear. I love you. And as soon as you treat your fear that way, it will say, I'm turning to joy now. Because you see, you only have one energy. You filter your energy through belief systems, and that generates what you call feelings. That's the direction in which it works. All feelings, all emotions generate from definitions and beliefs first. If you don't believe something to be true, you don't have a feeling about it. If you're walking down the street wearing white socks, someone runs up to you, some crazy person says, I really hate those orange socks you're wearing. You would just sit there and stare blankly and go, well, that's nothing to do with me. Because you don't know how to feel about it because it's not a belief you have.
True.
That you're not wearing orange
that
socks.
analogy.
So the idea is similar. If you understand that this belief has nothing to do with you, you will neutralize it emotionally and then choose the belief that you do prefer and allow the emotions that correspond to that belief to be generated within you. But if you have fear, all that's happening is you're getting a sensation that tells you, hey, you're funneling your energy through beliefs that are out of alignment with your true core essential self. There's a distortion here. There's an out of phase belief. And it's the out of phase belief that you're running your energy through that generates that sensation you call anxiety, doubt, and fear. But when you run the very same energy through belief systems that are in harmonious alignment with your true essential core self, that same energy transforms into joy, excitement, love, bliss, passion, creativity. It's the same
That's
energy.
interesting.
So when you feel fear, know that you are right in touch with your excitement. You just have to redefine the belief the energy is running through. That's all you have to do. The fear has now put you in touch with a grand opportunity to be aware of the fact you have a belief that's not working for you. That notion in and of itself is exciting. Because now you're about to discover a new part of yourself you didn't know about before, and that means that when you get through with that process, you're going to be more than you were before, and that's cause for celebration. That's the attitude in which to approach it to allow it to be most effective in a positive way. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Does this help?
Very much so. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Moving out of your parents' house is a government psyop. Watch this.
If you have 10 members of a family, and they all scatter to the four winds, where they hardly at least a half hour apart from each other, or more, 2 hours apart, states
And it's raining so heavily today.
and they're going to pay 10 different sets of rent, 10 different sets of utilities, 10 different sets of groceries, 10 different sets of everything. Then what are they going to do? They will live alone in these apartments or in these small structures. They will desperately crave connection with strangers. They will spend tons of money on escapist entertainment. The research actually shows the average American spends about 5 years of their life on escapist entertainment now. And that was before COVID. We need to actually update that information for after COVID now. But the average person, their depression is off the chart.
This man made a very convincing case. By the way, a new YouTube video dropped. The banned night vision goggles that revealed demons during the Vietnam War. Link is in my bio. Thank you for watching. But it would make sense that the government wants everybody separated from each other, separated from their families. So yeah, in a way it is a psyop. Stay weird.
Tyra Banks. Apparently, or allegedly, she was supplying the vaccine.
Oh, Steve Harvey has a lot of scandals. It's crazy for someone
You know
who
where Tyra
wrote
is now? Tyler
a
Perry.
very good book.
Tyra Banks.
Tyra Banks.
Tyra. Tyra Banks.
You know where she is?
No.
In Australia. Just moved over there. She's starting an ice cream franchise.
Tie back with the flavor drop of the
We
week.
caught her in a Honda. In a rental. Eating a cheeseburger at McDonald's. Look at the press.
The flavor is called Let That Man Go. First of all, you need to let that man go if he's tripping.
She wasn't looking too good.
She looked like the life was
Well, maybe it is. She's
involved
involved
in that top notch. And all they got you was an ice cream chain in Australia.
Second of all, let that mango. You get it? Mango.
Here are the 3 worst banks to put your money in, and the last one is the worst. At number 1, we have Chase. Chase only gives you a 0.01% of interest on your money. That means with $10,000 in your bank account at the end of the year, they'll only give you $1. That is horrible because with a high yield savings account, that can equal up to $400 or $500. Number 2 is Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo also gives you a 0.01% of interest on your money. And they can charge you up to a $5 monthly service fee if you don't meet these requirements. And for number 3 is Bank of America. They can charge upward of an $8 monthly fee, and their savings account is also 0.01% of interest.
That's
on
so
your money.
low.
Comment the word HYSA to have a list of my top high yield savings accounts that pays anywhere from 4 to 5% interest on your money.
He said actually being attacked by somebody who's doing better than you is more common than being attacked by somebody who's not. And I said, explain that. He said, because somebody can do better than you financially, but your spirit aggravates them. If I had a mic right now, I would talk. So your spirit aggravates them. There is an anointing on your life that even the friend you have who's wealthier than you, better looking than you, more educated than you, comes from a better part of town than you, went to better schools than you, has a better job than you, is still jealous of you, and you don't get it. It's because they see the anointing on your life. Your spirit aggravates people.
Let me teach you some dark psychology tricks. The scariest form of manipulation isn't yelling, threats, or control. It's silence. And when someone suddenly stops reacting, stops arguing, and explaining, that's when they've already won. Because the moment you stop explaining yourself to someone who is already checked out, you're the one being controlled. They've pulled you into their game without even saying a word. Women, you do this very well. Let me tell you something. Silence isn't weakness. It's the strongest psychological weapon. And the best part, come here. The person being manipulated never realizes it until it's too late.
True, so true.
You know, it's really crazy when you learn that there were a lot more human species around than just us and Neanderthals, but most of them are completely shrouded in mystery like the Denisovans. As far as we know, they were a species of archaic humans that lived across Eurasia from 285,000 to 25,000 years ago during the Pleistocene. It's mostly theorized that they originated either from a group of Homo erectus that migrated to Asia or descended from Homo heidelbergensis. The problem is that their family tree is a complete nightmare to analyze because throughout their history, Denisovans interbred with Neanderthals and other archaic human species. Now, it's also difficult to know what a Denisovan even looked like because of how fragmentary the remains are. Like, we know this entire species from the finger bone of a 13-year-old girl in the cave. It's also important to know that she was half Neanderthal, and the other Denisovan fossils that we have are a molar, a partial mandible, a parietal bone, and fragments from an arm and leg. So yeah, at first it seems like we're kind of cooked, but we're actually not doing all that bad. Some of that DNA information actually came from that single finger bone, which is very similar to ours. but their molars and jaws seem to be a lot larger and robust than ours, suggesting that they ate a lot of tough vegetation in their diet like nuts and roots. The parietal fragment of the skull also allowed for the creation of a facial reconstruction that shows us that they had long projecting faces with sloping foreheads like Neanderthals. Due to the cold environment they lived in with the mountainous terrain they had to deal with, you could even argue that they had stout and short bodies just like Neanderthals, but these few fossils don't represent the whole picture. When you think about it, there wasn't a lot of fossils that made it from an entire species that was around for thousands of years, and we've probably lost a lot of other species. It's kind of scary to imagine what kind of world our ancestors really came from.
The song was so big, and they told me I had to like kind of sacrifice something. They said you're gonna have to pay it back because you just put this information out there. This is gonna put people in the wrong mindset of what we're trying to do in society. But they told me that if I don't do these listed things, then they are going to hurt my family or hurt people that I really care about. And they told me to go to this office. It was on Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles. And then when I asked them over the phone what are they gonna have me do, they said they couldn't tell me. And then when I went into the office, they sat me down and it was like an all white room. They opened one of the doors and it had a Gucci suit, a Gucci bodysuit. And I said, oh no, please don't tell me that is what I think it is. They said, yeah, it's exactly what you think it is, pal. And I said, no, please no, not the Gucci suit. They said, it's the Gucci suit. This is the only way that you can repay for what you've done. And I said, not the Gucci suit, please. And they said, it's the Gucci suit.
I did hear we have a lot of similarities.
What if I told you the reason pigs' eyes look so human is more disturbing than you think? Think about it. Pigs don't just have human-like eyes. They have human-like skin, human-like organs, human-like emotions. But no one asks why. No one stops to question it. Yet, when you lock eyes with certain pigs, when you really look at them, something feels off. Too aware, too familiar. Like there's someone trapped behind that gaze. And maybe there is. See, pigs aren't just similar to humans. They are too similar. Their skin, used for burn grafts, their heart valves, transplanted into human bodies, their organs, so close to ours that scientists are now experimenting with full pig-to-human organ transplants. Coincidence? That's what they tell you. But if it's just coincidence, why does every part of them feel like a compatible version of us? And it's not just physical. It's their minds, too. Pigs recognize their own names. They dream. They mourn their dead. They cry for lost companions. Some have even been caught playing video games. Not for food, not for survival, but out of sheer boredom. So tell me, why? Why is there an animal walking around with human-like organs, human-like skin, human-like emotions? Maybe the answer is darker than you think.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
Elon Musk has just had the worst weekend ever. Tesla stock has been plummeting, clocking in their 7th worst day in their 15 years trading history. Donald Trump blamed the radical left lunatics boycotting the firm and promised that he will buy a brand new Tesla to help their stock prices. There was a whole wave of attacks carried out at multiple Tesla dealerships, with one individual arrested carrying explosives at a dealership in Colorado. They tried to set fire to the building and were only arrested on their 5th separate attempt. Teslas have been attacked and vandalizing the streets and at charging stations, and just last night, a number of Cybertrucks were torched in Seattle. And then, at the same time as all of this, another one of Elon's companies, X, suffered multiple outages. Elon later revealed that these outages were caused by a massive cyber attack to try and bring down the X system, with the attack apparently having IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area. And this is all just days after he appeared on Joe Rogan saying that he has to be careful to not push too hard with his work at Doge, otherwise...
And this is really going to get me assassinated. I actually have to be careful that I don't push too hard on the corruption stuff, because it's going to get me killed.
One of the individuals who gathered this weekend to protest against Doge said,
I'm hoping that if he feels enough pain from his companies having trouble, he'll leave.
Tesla car sales in Europe are down 45% in January compared to the same month in 2024, 76% down in Germany, 49% down in China, and they also recorded declining sales in America and Australia. However, despite all of this, if you zoom out, Tesla share prices are still at roughly the same place they were just before the election. But the question is, will the boycotts and attacks truly hurt Elon's companies, or will they be fine?
It's actually insane that if you believe in yourself like 100%, there's no doubt in your mind, okay? You're delusional that what you want is going to happen, it will happen. Like, I don't know why we don't teach kids this in school. I mean, I do know why. It's because everyone would be so powerful. And just from experience, like, it may take some time for things to like fall away and recalibrate and rearrange themselves, but it will happen. It will happen, okay? No matter what you're trying to call into your life, just move through your life so delusional that it's on its way to you. Even if it feels like your life's falling apart, even if things aren't working out, even if you thought this one thing was going to be the thing and now it's shifting into something else, like, no matter what is going on in your life, I need you to just continue to move forward being so delusional that what you want is happening. Because eventually, you will pick up momentum. If you can move through life with that much certainty that what you want is on its way, you're going to keep like making habits and taking action in that path. And then all of those action steps are going to build on one another, and then you're going to pick up momentum, and things will start to happen, and then you're going to look back and you say, I am so grateful that I always believed in myself, because look where I am today.
We are God. We are God in these vehicles, these bodies, and yet we're allowing people to slave us, to tell us that we don't have what it takes to be who we want to be, what we want to be. Everything you want is possible. Let me tell you how possible it is. It already exists. Every possible thing, every possible timeline already exists. The only thing is you have to match your frequency to meet that timeline. So what limiting beliefs do you have that is making you feel like you're either one, not worthy of your desires, or that they're so far-fetched that you can't reach them? The fact is, you already have. Every possible timeline already exists. The reality where you are living your dream life, where you are a multimillionaire, where you have freedom and you can do what you want and travel the world and whatever your heart desires, where you are in that relationship that you want to be, already exists. You just have to match your frequency and believe that you can get there.
Everywhere they went, they would then instill and install this Christianity, this Catholic Christianity in those areas. This is how they did it. People believed that Christianity was spread by love and the good news, and no. It was spread by rape, bloodshed, murdering, and killing. When they came to your town, they literally would take your women and your children. They would take the leader of that village or whatever. They would show, hey, you guys are going to bow down to us. You're going to follow this religion. You're going to speak our language. And they'll make an example out of somebody, and then everybody else would follow suit. And if they didn't, then they would say, okay, we're going to give you a lot of these torture devices. They would have the Pope's spear, all right, which is still in the museums right now. They would have this triangular pyramid with a spire on top, and they would reel a man up and down and let it go up into his back door over and over again until he died. All these torture mechanisms, they tortured and killed over 80 million people over the course of 700 years under the order of the popes in order to spread love and peace and Christianity, all with the authority of Rome. So this global conquest to spread this and collect money was all done by bloodshed and torture, not by love and peace.
Do you guys hear about the secretive plane, the Boeing X-37B?
A secretive plane?
Very classified.
Okay.
This plane is nuts. It's this plane that is very small, unmanned, but it goes into outer orbit on the Earth.
Oh my gosh.
It was a NASA thing that they're doing with Boeing, but the project was taken over by the U.S. Air Force.
Yeah.
And everything got classified since then. Very little known about it. We know what it looks like, and we know that it goes into outer orbit. They released one of the pictures it took. So it's crazy far.
Yeah, it's not like just above the surface.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The conspiracy is this is a terrifying weapon called the Rods of God. It's so scary. It's basically a giant metal rod that you would put in space that is solid steel, a foot in diameter, over 20 feet long. They would shoot it from space undetected from all radars, but have the same impact as a small nuclear bomb. Just from kinetic energy.
And when was this created?
They're saying it hasn't been created.
Got
but
it.
speculation is that this thing could potentially be housing these rods of God.
Oof.
While the rich dream of Nazi robots and swastikas.
What's happening? There's a whole lot of chaos happening with Elon Musk. This is crazy.
And cheap public transportation.
NASA was all just a big cover-up. TikTok is for entertainment purposes only. None of it is true. I mean, I know they're going to picture this. Admiral Uber does Operation High Jump, which is crazy enough.
Operation High Jump?
Operation High Jump. if there isn't a huge ice wall in Antarctica. Hello? There's even footage. You can literally look up sailors that be in that Antarctica area. There's plenty of people that have posted videos online about the super long giant ice wall. Everyone in the comments talking about, it's a glacier. But anyway, yeah. Operation High Jump happened. He finds all this lush green land in Antarctica, contrary to what they've been telling literally everybody. I truly believe they didn't expect him to come back alive. But anyway, he does, writes his journal. Not only did he say that he found lush green land, he said he found a rainbow city, which I still haven't even dived into because what? Anyway, he comes back determined to tell the world. He does so many interviews and he's just yapping away. I don't know why he did that. So anyway, tells everyone Admiral Byrd suspiciously unalive because of heart failure. Like, let's be so for real. In 1957, he's out of the picture and he can't negate anything that they're saying. They formed NASA in 1958 to get everybody talking about space and Mars and oh my gosh, first man is on the moon. Wow. Huge distraction because only a year later after that, that's when they signed the Antarctica Treaty. The world is distracted with space. So now, no one is talking about Operation High Jump anymore. Let's hurry up, band together, and sign a treaty to prohibit self-exploration of some parts of Antarctica. Not everything, just some parts so that people don't get too suspicious, so that we never have another bird problem. Let's not even get into the fact that space is all just a big ploy. We can't leave the firmament. If you guys want another video on that, I can definitely make one. I have a lot on my main channel, but I don't have that many on this channel, so I'd be happy to get into it. But just challenge yourself to look up Wernher von Braun, one of the most talented aerospace engineer and space architect known to man at that time. I want you to look at his headstone and what it says. He left nothing but a Bible verse. Psalms 19:1. Psalms 19:1 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork." Seems like old buddy couldn't say what he wanted to say. And what he wanted to say was, baby, there's no leaving the firmament. There is no space. Again, TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. It is all satire. None of what I'm saying is true. But he did his big one because y'all can't get him in the grave. No, you can't. Another cute little Antarctica fact. Did y'all know that there's only 1,500 to 5,000 people living in Antarctica? And Antarctica is the size of 2 Texases put together. And most of the people on Antarctica are actually scientists exploring. And the Rothschilds, I think they are the most richest family, or not the most richest, the richest family on America, or at least in the top 3. They have an island there. First of all, I thought we weren't allowed over there. And second of all, what could y'all possibly name an island over there for? You already know the 1%, they got a lot of money to blow through and a lot of time to do it. So obviously there's something on Antarctica that piqued their interest. And I want to know the tea. As always, make sure you like and follow and let me know what you think in the comments. Also, let me know if you want me to do a video on the giant mega ocean that they found in Earth's core not too long ago.
This is how you get so fucking rich, you question why the fuck didn't I do it sooner? Most people spend their life working a job that they hate, and paycheck to paycheck, obviously wondering why they'll never break free. You're following a broken system. The system is designed to keep you trapped. Real way to get rich is so simple it's almost insulting. You need to do 3 things. 1, learn a skill that makes money. 2, sell something at scale. 3, reinvest everything into cash flowing assets. That's it. Instead, what do most people do? Get a job, pay their bills, save a little bit, and hope they'll be rich one day. It is not a strategy. I'm in my 20s, I make millions of dollars per year. I need a plan, and that plan needs to involve making money outside, planning your time for it. You get rich by leveraging systems, not by working harder. The moment you stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like an owner, it starts to flow to you. Do it now, I look back in 10 years thinking what went wrong and why am I still broke.
These are famous brands that are actually owned by other brands, and I bet you didn't know all of them. So Volkswagen owns Porsche, and that's not the only car brand they own. LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. Gucci is owned by Kering. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Shazam is owned by Apple.
Oh, really?
You know, the app that names that song? Isn't that a TV show? Rolls-Royce is owned by BMW. I did not know that either. So if you're getting a Rolls-Royce, pretty much BMW. Converse is owned by Nike.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I actually did not know that either.
I didn't know that.
Here's the other one. Lamborghini is owned by Volkswagen.
Oh, okay.
So Lamborghini and Porsche are owned by
Lamborghini and
Volkswagen. Christian Dior, or Dior, is owned by the Louis V. Is that Morrison Hennessy? Dior is owned by Louis Vuitton. And Fitbit is owned by Google.
These are the 5 most expensive car brands to maintain. I did a video the other day on the lowest maintenance cars. You all asked for the most expensive brands, so here it is. What was kind of fun though is I actually tried to guess the 5 and I got pretty close. See if you can guess the 5, but here they are. Number 5 is Jeeps. I feel like Jeeps is such a polarizing brand. People love them or hate them, but they're showing up on the list. Number 5 is one of the most expensive cars to maintain. Number 4, no surprise, I actually thought this would be higher, is Range Rover. While they look good and a lot of people try to drive them, they are extremely expensive to maintain. I would definitely lease a Range Rover if it's your dream car because they are constantly in the shop. Number 3 is Porsche. Porsche actually doesn't have that many maintenance issues, but when you have to maintain it or fix it, it is so expensive to do it. I actually really like Porsche. They drive really well, but they're extremely expensive to take care of. And number 2 is Mercedes, and the number 1 spot I actually got wrong. I didn't think they'd be number 1 on the list, and that is BMW. What's crazy is every one of these are considered luxury cars, but are not the best made cars. When you're going to buy a car, think through everything that it costs to actually drive this thing. Don't just keep up with the Joneses. I know these cars are flashy and cool, and honestly, you can pick them up for pretty cheap, but there's a reason you're picking up for pretty cheap, okay? Go tried and true, do one of the quality brands like Honda or Toyota, and your pocketbook will thank you later. If you're looking for more ways to grow your net worth, follow me.
Be careful what you ask God for. You ask for wisdom, and now He's giving you mistakes to learn from. You ask for courage, and now He's giving you moments of fear to overcome. You ask for growth, and now He's bringing you places of discomfort. You ask for faith, and now He's making you walk through uncertainty. You ask for peace, and now He's removing everything that's not for you out of your life. You ask for love, and now He's making you love yourself. Remember that all blessings don't look like gifts. Sometimes they come back to lessons.
I can do things financially that would be very bad for Russia. I don't want to do that because I want to get peace. I want to see peace, and we'll see. But in a financial sense, yeah, we could do things very bad for Russia. It would be devastating for Russia.
People are freaking out after realizing that one single drink can age you by half a year and destroy your brain. I'm sure a lot of you like going out on the weekend having a couple of pints or a few drinks throughout the week. Most people do. We obviously know alcohol isn't good for you. The more you drink of it, the worse it's going to be for everything about your body. You've always been told the safe limits how much is actually really bad for you, but you don't know how much is actually damaging your brain. And especially for people who drink regularly, you're going to want to tag them in the comments below or share this video with them. Research that the University of Pennsylvania has discovered if you have 2 drinks a day, whatever they are, this will lead to brain shrinkage. While consuming over 10 units of alcohol a day can age your brain by 30 years. So what researchers are saying now is that what this evidence has shown is if you have 1 pint of beer every single day, it will shrink the brain and have the equivalent of aging half a year. Now, of course, if we look into this a bit deeper, you'd have to be drinking a lot of beer. I'm sure this wouldn't happen overnight. I'm talking you would have to be drinking a pint a day every single day for probably 50, 60 years for it to potentially have an impact. So I wouldn't worry too much, but when you're thinking about having that final drink of the night, maybe don't.
The first art form to master is simply being here and now with what is happening. Trusting that what is happening for a reason. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening. So if you are willing to accept that whatever part of the process is happening for the purpose of putting you in touch with more of yourself, so that you can expand and get that reflection back from reality of your expansion, then you will be excited about anything the process has to show you. It will actually be experienced as a piece of performance art. And by getting into it and diving into it and being the performance artist and the art piece itself, then you will allow it to move very rapidly through you, to process very rapidly, because you're willing to accept everything that's happening as necessary, as a part of the piece, as a part of the art, as something to look at, as something to investigate, as something that will increase your understanding of who and what you are as a co-creator.
Donald Trump always said he wanted to drain the swamp.
We're going to clean out the Washington swamp. I never knew it was this deep.
And he knows just the guy to help.
Elon Musk, Doge. Perhaps you've heard of it.
Elon Musk and members of his so-called Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, have been embedding themselves across the United States government.
Department of Education, Department of Energy, USAID, Department of the Treasury, Department of Defense, Social Security, you name it, they are there.
Musk has been approaching all of this with a lot of glee. He's joked about being the Bobs from Office Space.
What would you say you do here?
The idea of cutting the federal budget, I think, is something that a lot of people, left or right, can get on board with.
The people voted for major government reform.
But there's a lot of question about whether Elon actually knows the ins and outs of these agencies enough to make these cuts, or if he's simply going in with a chainsaw.
I actually just call myself a humble tech support here.
This disruption is all part of the plan. This is how Elon Musk runs his companies.
But the federal government is going to run and operate in a very different way than a rocket ship company.
It's got spikes running all the way down inside. If you rub it this way, you're gonna get cut.
A catfish with armor? When did this update come out? This is not a fucking catfish. This is the catfish that I know and love. Delectable fucking catfish. I can eat it all day. This is a huge catfish. You see how this catfish has literally no fucking armor? There's a couple questions that I gotta ask. What is in that water? And why are you there? Whatever is in that body of water caused this nigga to evolve.
How insane is that fish? Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
And you know what else? This makes me mad. Because how can other animals be out here and be like, you know what? Our whole team is getting packed up right now by these other fish. Let's just develop some armor. What? Y'all already know a whale wasn't a whale before it became a whale. And here we are, just walking and shit. I can be like, you know what? I don't feel like walking. Let me just develop some fucking wings. And nothing will happen. Motherfucker got an armored catfish. There's no way, bro.
This is the control of the experiment. This is before the software update. It is destroying everything. Just like that, the Cybertruck is updated and it should not be crushing any bananas. I'm so impressed. Everybody's been waiting for this. The finger. Without further ado.
This was so painful.
I know 15-year-olds making $1 million a month.
What are they doing?
Roblox maps.
Roblox? Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Roblox? Okay, explain that, please.
The way gaming is moving is open sourcing models for people to make games on. So like Fortnite, the way they're starting to make a lot of their money is by letting people make their own Fortnite maps. And so Roblox has been doing that model forever. And these pay a ton of money. So there's kids on Roblox and Fortnite making a ton of money.
So they build a Roblox map and then they sell it.
They don't sell it. They just have a bunch of users come and play on it.
And Roblox pays them?
Yeah. That's Roblox's whole model. Roblox doesn't have their own map, I'm pretty sure. It's just all player model.
These are the 5 best sports cars you could buy for under $100,000. These are cars with strictly 2 seats, no sedans or anything like that. And I have driven all of these cars. This is just my personal opinion. Starting off, we have the Aston Martin Vantage. This is a ton of car for the money. You get an AMG powered twin turbo V8, 503 horsepower, super sexy styling, easily one of the best looking cars on the roads at all times. Fantastic sounding exhaust and pretty good performance, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, top speed of 195. You can get these for the 80,000 range all day long. I sold this one for 85 just last year. Next up, we have the Porsche Cayman. You could argue this is the best, most perfect sports car money could buy, period. Mid-engine flat 6, 350 horsepower, perfect balance. Some of the best resale value of any car on the market. Even 10-year-old Caymans with 80,000 miles are still going for over 40 grand. Really can't fault these cars. Next up, we got the Corvette. Now I know these cars are super mass produced and you see them everywhere. I mean, everyone and their mother has a Corvette, but there's a reason for that. Chevy has really upped their game the last couple of Corvette generations. Styling wise, it does get compared to Ferraris and other supercars, although a little bit too often. And it is mid-engine now, so the driving dynamics are much more purist based now. Corvettes are no longer full of horrible interior qualities and plastics that look like they were found in the back of a dumpster. It's a much nicer place to be now. Next up, we have the Mercedes-AMG GTS. Very similar car to the Aston Martin Vantage I showed earlier. Same exact engine, same horsepower, although Aston has it tuned a bit more aggressively than this. These cars for the $55,000, $65,000 range is pretty remarkable. Great looking car. Also, the interior is fabulous. I mean, Mercedes always nails their interiors. Lastly on this list is my personal favorite sports car for under $100,000, the Lotus Emira. This car is a a ton of fun to drive. And styling wise, it looks like it's twice the price. Porsche Cayman's probably a better car, but the Lotus is much more exotic feeling and much more special feeling because you never see them. It is also quite a reliable engine. It is a supercharged V6 from a Toyota Camry. The exhaust sounds incredible. You get 400 horsepower, hydraulic power steering, unlike Porsche's electric power steering. So great steering feel, manual transmission with exposed linkage, may I add. But what do you guys think of this list?
You might not know this, but China is not a communist country. When it's about China, so many people always say communist this, communist that, but do they even know what communism actually is? They probably just keep repeating what they've been told. In theory, communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society where everything is collectively owned. There's no private property or government. Does that sound like China to you? China follows a system called socialism with Chinese characteristics. It's a socialist market economy, not purely state-controlled, not completely free market capitalism either. It's a unique model tailored to China's development. The government plays a major role in economic planning, ensuring stability and long-term growth, but people can still start businesses, own property, and create wealth. So why do people keep calling China communist? Maybe they just like to act like they know everything when they don't even understand the basics. If you look at the reality instead of labels, you see China is far from the definition of communism.
There's no technology in China. What are they talking about? China is still a third world country.
Yeah, right. Still a third world country. Oh wait. Oh, he has an electric car right now.
这个多少钱？这个
25万到33万。
真的吗？可恶。Even the taxi drivers in China, yeah, they use electric cars. They've even got a SkyTrain. 66666，我的天哪，厉害 ！And a bloody robot waiter. So I'm blown away. I can't believe how developed China has actually become in the last, let's say, 20 to 30 years. Crazy.
Why everyone is ditching sleek and going cozy. The people are craving traditional design right now. Oil paintings, stripes, ships, lace, gallery walls with an assortment of art, maps, photos, and nostalgia. This harkens to an era before the advent of modern minimalism and the takeover by big storage. Things here are out to display. Stacks of books and bookshelves, themselves a marker of the analog age. Dark wood floors and carved furniture. Plates on the wall. Buttery creams, blues, greens, and reds. A little skirting on the upholstered pieces. Chinoiserie and subtle florals. The popularity of Delft tile, and maybe even some fly fishing accessories.
While most luxury hotel brands stays hype, Aman stays silent. And that's exactly why it's the most exclusive hotel brand in the world. Let's break it down. Swiss-based Aman has built a luxury empire on mystique. No overexposure, just flawless service, breathtaking locations, and a level of exclusivity no competitor can match. Aman redefines luxury hospitality with a radical concept. Small, ultra-private retreats that blend seamlessly into their surroundings. No overcrowded pools, just sanctuaries of peace. So how did Aman establish itself as the gold standard for quiet luxury and hospitality? Number one is privacy as the ultimate luxury. Aman is where people go when they don't want to be seen. The staff are strictly prohibited from discussing guests. Some locations are so secluded you might never see another guest during your stay, and a few locations require a private jet or helicopter just to reach them. Next is the anti-hotel model. Most luxury hotels compete on grandeur. Aman competes with tranquility and space. Fewer than 50 rooms per property, some have as few as 20. This ensures unparalleled intimacy and an almost personal residence feel. Next is service that feels psychic. At some Aman properties, the staff-to-guest ratio is 6:1. They keep detailed guest profiles, tracking everything from your pillow preference to your favorite wine. Number 4, it's timeless, not trendy. No influencer sponsorships or flashy campaigns, just minimalism and architectural perfection. Aman's design philosophy, disappear into the environment. Aman Jivo in Indonesia aligns
aligns with the sacred Borobudur Temple. Amangiri in Utah blends into the desert, and Amman at Summer Palace in Beijing is set inside a UNESCO site. It's an immersion into history, nature, and culture. Next is the Amman lifestyle. They don't just sell hotel stays, but also experiences and aesthetics. From private sunrise access to temples, to monk blessings in Bhutan, and sailing through Indonesia's marine reserves, Amman curates once-in-a-lifetime experiences. And lastly, the challenge of imitation. Luxury hoteliers love to say they're building the next Amman, but here's the issue. Amman took over 3 decades to build. Its owner, Vladislav Doronin, doesn't just run the brand, he embodies it. You can copy the architecture, but you can't replicate the philosophy, the reputation, or the cult-like devotion of Amman's guests and word-of-mouth strategy. No hype, no noise. Amman wins with flawless service, legendary locations, and a minimalist ethos, and luxury's evolving. Less hype, more mystique. Will other brands manage to follow, or is Amman in a league of its own?
What percentage of the fans do you think know that you're a real person?
I just thought it was something
that I'd like to think like a loud fan.
Right.
Up here.
I never knew it was a real person doing this.
Does it feel like it's been 33?
The Chinese said that Americans are not free. Because the American TikTok refugees asked the Chinese, what stereotypes do you have about us? And I'm thinking they're going to say, like, we're fat and we like junk food. No. They said that we think that we are free, but we are not. That we live under an oligarchy. And that we essentially live in a corporation.
Obviously, of course. Yes, that's true. I agree.
And we're fat.
This is the look that you're trying to create, I'd say you're trying to achieve a biophilic design. But if this is a look that you're trying to create, I'd say you're trying to achieve a West African modern style. If this is the look that you're trying to create, I'd say Japandi is your style. But if it's this, I'd say it's East African modern. But if this is the look that you're trying to create, I'd say Wabi Sabi is your style. Or this, I would say, is Pan-African modern.
Which is a better city, New York or Tokyo?
In terms of infrastructure and quality of life, I have to say Tokyo wins. You know, it's clean, the trains come on time, even if the train is late, they announce it. You can eat and drink for a very affordable price here. But on the flip side, New York has so much life. Everybody is free to be whoever they want to be. There's so much culture, there's so much depth to the different cultures there. There's so much diversity. And so, you know, both cities have their pros and cons, and I love both cities very much. I would say physically, Tokyo is a better city, but I would say emotionally, New York is a better city.
You guys remember Nas Daily? Well, he was widely regarded as one of the nicest content creators, but in just a couple years, he destroyed his career by lying and faking charities. Before he ruined his career, he was a breath of fresh air, and he was one of the best storytellers that you could have ever seen. He was using his amazing storytelling to basically change the world himself for the better. And he would create videos with some amazing people, and his genuine goal was to inspire people to do good. And while inspiring people, he would pride himself to create extremely high quality content. Before Nas Daily could basically get to his highest point, he let his ego and his attitude get in the way of everything. And this ego slowly started to make him less trustworthy day by day, even to the point where he was exploiting people and creating fake charities. And of course, when people started not to trust him, his videos went from getting 30 million views almost every video to him barely even able to break 100,000 views every single video he posts. And now every time he does post, he gets flooded with hate comments.
Here's what's interesting in China. So I've called an Uber, so we are here and the car is here, but it's so connected, the technology, that I can see that the car is waiting at a red stop and the red light will change to green in 22 seconds. So you can literally like get that granular level of data as to when the car will come because he's still waiting at the red light for 14 seconds. I find that really cool, not gonna lie.
St. Moritz hosts the ICE, AP releases new models, the best hotels of the year are ranked, and a man runs across Japan. Here is what happened this week in the 4 freedoms: time, financial, location, and health. In time freedom, luxury and motoring enthusiasts made the pilgrimage to St. Moritz for the ICE, the famous 2-day event on the town's frozen lake. Between layers of fur and laurel piana, spectators caught a glimpse of over 50 of the world's rarest classics. This year's Best in Class award was presented to a beautiful 1934 Bugatti Type 59. In financial freedom, Audemars Piguet turns 150, marking the occasion with the release of some new models. The standout? a Royal Oak perpetual calendar open work, limited to just 150 pieces and a farewell to the outgoing legendary 5135 movement. Taking its place is the new 7138 movement, debuting in two 41mm Royal Oak perpetual calendars. The lineup also includes a Code 1159 perpetual calendar, two new Royal Oak offshore self-winding chronographs, and 3 additional Code 1159s. Meanwhile, Mercedes quietly announces plans for a smaller G-Wagon. Details are very slim at this stage, but one thing is for certain, the ladies will love it.
Yeah,
in Location
obviously.
Freedom, Forbes released its annual Travel Guide Star Awards, ranking the best hotels, restaurants, and spas. Notable 5-star newcomers this year include Raffles London, a classically elegant hotel housed in the historic Old War Office for you history buffs, Riverview Ranch in Montana, a 1,000-acre all-inclusive retreat with just 8 ultra-private suites, and Carlton Cannes, fresh off a major renovation and ready for another year of Riviera indulgence. In the sky, Emirates business class dining is getting a revamp with 18 new dishes curated by Moet and Chandon's head chef Jean-Michel Bardet. Rolling out in May, the menu hopes to continue blurring the line between airline and fine dining. In Health Freedom, William Gouge is running 500 kilometers across Japan in just 5 days, from Osaka to Tokyo. After challenging himself on nearly every continent in memory of his late mom's battle with cancer, this is actually just the warm-up for April, when he'll set out to run across the entire continent of Australia at record pace. Fueled by George Heaton's 247 and Cadence, in partnership with Whoop and Headstrong, Will really is pushing the boundaries of human resilience and endurance. Meanwhile, The White Lotus returns for Season 3 at Four Seasons Koh Samui in Thailand. True to the first couple episodes, the real-life resort does lean into wellness as a significant pillar of luxury, with world-class spas and holistic therapies. If you're looking for a detox, book quick. The White Lotus effect is real. If you're a founder, creative, or entrepreneur, follow the Libra for everything culture and lifestyle.
This is the look that you're trying to create. I'd say you're trying to achieve Soul Train revival. But if it's this, I'd say you're trying to achieve Nigerian neo-tradition. But maybe it's this, and I'd say you're trying to achieve Afro-Bohemian. Or maybe it's something closer to this, and I'd say you're trying to achieve South African Kasi. But if this is something that you're trying to create, I'd say you're trying to achieve Black Dandyism. Or maybe it's something like this, and I'd say you're trying to achieve Afro-colonial.
Of course, here's 7 facts about the cheetah that you may not have known. Their entire bodies are built for speed. Features such as larger lungs, stronger arteries, even their paws act like the tread of the tire that helps them to grip the ground and to make sharp turns. Their tails act like rudders for stability. Their collarbones are disconnected from their shoulders, which helps them to move freely and make longer strides. Even their claws are different. Unlike other big cats, the claws of a cheetah are more like that of a dog and perform like cleats on a shoe. This brilliant design allows them to reach speeds of about 70 miles an hour in only 3 seconds. Cheetah print is commonly mistaken for leopard print. Cheetahs have dark spots that are solid all throughout, and then leopards have these large rosettes that have spots in the middle. Socially, cheetahs are a little unique. The brothers will stick together from birth to death. They will have territories, and their groups are called coalitions. While the females tend to be more solitary, they grow up and eventually separate themselves, and the only time that you will catch them interacting with other cheetahs is when they have their own cubs or it's time to mate. Speaking of cubs, cheetahs have a very distinct tail, and this tail is what allows mama cheetahs to locate their young in the grass. Cheetahs are the only big cats that cannot roar. They can growl, they can purr, and they can also chirp. These beautiful dark marks on their faces are actually designed on purpose. Cheetahs hunt during the daytime, and these tear marks help reduce the sun's glare in their eyes. Last but not least, cheetahs cannot run very fast for very long. Although they are the world's fastest animal, they can only maintain this speed for about 30 seconds. This means they have to be very smart and use strategies and their speed to close in on their prey.
And we've come to the end of the video. Interesting videos. I really love these videos. You know, it lights me up from within, and these are good videos. And we've come to the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share with your friends. And also click on the notification bell icon so that any video that I post, you will be the first to get it.